A 1978 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark. To most people, it looks ordinary, just another brown coin jingling in a jar. But to the trained collector, it's one of the rarest mistakes in U.S. minting history. And yes, the right one has been valued at up to $1.7 million. So how does a simple penny become worth more than a mansion? The answer lies in a single overlooked detail, a missing mark, invisible to the casual glance, but earth-shattering in the numismatic world. In 1978, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia and Denver was running at full speed. Billions of pennies were struck. But somewhere in the chaos, an error slipped through. A batch of Lincoln cents was minted without the tiny D or S that collectors rely on to trace a coin's birthplace. It should have been corrected. It should have been caught. But a handful survived, and they changed history. One of these coins surfaced decades later. A man had been keeping it in a coffee tin, tossing spare change inside without a second thought. When a dealer examined it, he froze. "Do you realize what you're holding?" he whispered. That penny, once worth 1 cent, was now worth more than $1 million, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread like wildfire. Auction houses received calls. Collectors who had been searching for decades swarmed coin shows with magnifying glasses, desperately hunting for the ghost-like 1978 no-mint mark penny. Prices skyrocketed. Dealers rushed to secure even the slightest possibility of owning one. And here's the secret most people miss: the key to this coin's fortune is not its age, it's the absence of something. That missing mint mark. On most 1978 pennies, you'll see a small letter stamped beneath the date. A D for Denver. An S for San Francisco. But on this rarest of rarities, there is nothing there. Just the date. Clean. Empty. Silent. Collectors were shocked that such an oversight slipped into circulation. But it did. And every time one surfaces, the bidding wars ignite. One lucky owner watched as his coin, once rattling in his pocket with a pack of gum, climbed into the stratosphere of 7 figures. But here's where it gets even more thrilling. Experts warn that many people mistake ordinary weak strikes or worn coins for this legendary error. If the mint mark is faint, it's not the same. If it looks rubbed off, it won't fetch the fortune. The true 1978 no-mint mark penny is struck clean, flawless in its omission, with absolutely no trace of a letter. Imagine the feeling, sifting through an old jar of pennies, spotting a plain 1978, holding it up to the light and realizing there's no D, no S, nothing at all. That's when the heartbeat races. That's when collectors know they might be staring at $1 million miracle, and the stories keep coming. A retired teacher once found one buried in a drawer with old receipts. Another surfaced at a small coin shop in the Midwest, where the owner couldn't believe his luck. Each time, the discovery reads like a fairy tale, a penny becoming a life-changing fortune, but the biggest twist? They are still out there. Not locked away in museums. Not all sold to the highest bidder. Some are still hiding in everyday collections, waiting for someone bold enough, curious enough, to take a closer look. So here's how to know if you've struck gold. Pull out every 1978 penny you can find. Hold it up under good light. Focus on the date. Just below those numbers, check carefully. If you see a tiny D or S, it's ordinary. If you see nothing at all, smooth, clean, completely blank, then you may be holding a treasure beyond imagination. And remember, condition matters. The sharper the detail on Lincoln's profile, the crisper the strike, the higher the potential value. But even in circulated condition, the absence of that mint mark can make the difference between 1 cent and over $1 million. Think about that. A coin that could slip through your hands at the gas station, a penny you might overlook at the bottom of a drawer, could secretly be worth more than most people's lifetime savings, and it could be yours. Right now. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer, and it's worth over $1 million. How could a coin so ordinary hide such extraordinary value? That's where the story turns unbelievable. In 1979, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies. Day after day, presses thundered, striking copper-coated coins by the truckload. Nothing unusual. Nothing rare. Or so it seemed. But hidden in that sea of copper, a few coins emerged with a mistake so strange, so unexpected, even experienced collectors missed it at first glance. This was the writ error, a bizarre, almost ghostly extra mark near the word trust. A tiny imperfection, invisible to most people rushing through their daily lives. But for those who knew where to look, this flaw turned an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, and here's the part that sent shockwaves through the community. One collector pulled a 1979 Lincoln penny from pocket change. He almost spent it. He almost dropped it in a vending machine. But something felt off. He noticed the strange extra letter, a faint writ where only trust should be. His heart raced. Could this be real? He rushed to a dealer. The verdict came back, authentic. Rare. Priceless. News spread like wildfire. Collectors were shocked. Dealers scrambled. Phone calls poured in. Do you have one? Have you checked your change? Suddenly, the most overlooked coin in America was commanding whispers of $1 million at high-profile auctions. Why would a single letter, a faint, almost accidental engraving, make this penny so valuable? The answer lies in rarity. In coin collecting, mistakes aren't flaws. They're miracles. And when a minting error slips past the strict quality controls of the U.S. Mint, it becomes history frozen in copper. For every million coins struck, only a handful, sometimes just one, escapes with a mistake like this. And that scarcity is what drives collectors wild, and yet, countless others remain out there, waiting. Sitting quietly in drawers, coffee cans, and dusty piggy banks. Every time you get change at the grocery store, every handful of pennies you scoop from the car console, could be hiding one. The 1979 penny you're looking for must have the Denver Mint mark just below the date. Without that, it's not the one. Then comes the telltale sign. Look carefully at the motto, "In God We Trust." If you spot a strange doubling, an extra faint line, or letters forming writ instead of trust, your heart should skip a beat. That's the marker. That's the $1 million secret, but caution, thousands of ordinary 1979 pennies exist. Don't let your excitement trick you. Many have scratches, damage, or shadows that can fool the eye. True error coins have a crisp, distinct mark, not just a scrape. And serious collectors will always verify with magnification, grading, and certification. Imagine it. You're holding a penny that looks like every other, yet it holds the power to change your life. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin. Collectors whisper about it in forums, in auction halls, in hushed conversations. A coin worth up to $1.8 million, hiding where you least expect it. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, look again. When you open that old drawer, or shake that jar of pennies in the garage, take a closer look. Because history has a way of disguising itself as ordinary. And this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.
This penny almost went unnoticed. A tiny copper coin, tossed in change, nearly forgotten forever. But when collectors discovered its shocking secret, whispers spread that it could be worth nearly $1.8 million. Now imagine this. You buy a cup of coffee, get 3 pennies back, and one of them looks just a little different. Nothing dramatic. Just ordinary brown copper. But that penny, if it happens to be the one we're talking about tonight, could change your life forever. The year 2000 was ordinary enough. The new millennium, a time of optimism and uncertainty. But hidden inside the U.S. Mint's machines, something unusual was happening. A mistake. A slip. A detail so small that almost nobody saw it. But for the few who did, it became the stuff of legend. Collectors say the 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest errors of its time. Most 2000 pennies were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But every so often, a coin slipped out without a mint mark at all. A blank space where history should have been engraved. But here's where the story gets even wilder. One collector claims he found the coin in his loose change after paying for a newspaper. He didn't even realize what he had at first. He tossed it in a jar, like any of us would. Months later, after watching an auction on TV, he pulled the coin back out. He looked closer. No D, no P, no mint mark. Just a clean, empty field. Auction houses began buzzing. Collectors scrambled. Could more of these be out there? Could anyone, you, me, anyone, stumble across one of these coins in pocket change? Dealers started checking jars. Families dumped out piggy banks. One man even searched the floor mats of his old truck, hoping to find one lost under the seats. Because the truth is, these pennies don't announce themselves. They don't shine like treasure. They look normal, ordinary, just another Lincoln cent. But ordinary is the disguise of the extraordinary. When you flip a 2000 penny over and stare at the date, your eyes should slide just to the right of Lincoln's portrait. Normally, you'll see a small mint mark, D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, sometimes an S for San Francisco proof coins. But on the rarest of the rare, there's nothing there, just blank copper. And that blank space is worth a fortune. Now, imagine the suspense of holding one in your hand. You check once, twice, a third time, convinced your eyes are playing tricks. But no, it's gone. No mint mark at all. Your heart starts pounding. Could this really be it? Could you be holding $1 million penny? Collectors were shocked when the first rumors broke. How could something so simple, so small, be worth such staggering sums? But history has proven it again and again. The rarest coins are not the ones made of gold or silver. The rarest coins are mistakes. Human error immortalized in metal. But before you start digging through every penny you've ever saved, here's the catch. Not every missing mint mark penny is valuable. Some are just worn down. Years of circulation can scrape away a mint mark, leaving only a faint shadow. That's not the treasure. That's just damage. The real $1 million 2000 no mint penny shows a perfectly clean surface, as if the mint mark was never struck at all. No scratches, no faint outline, just smooth copper, untouched where the letter should have been. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin. Stories circulate of private collectors offering sums most of us only dream about. Some claim the record could push beyond $1.8 million if one surfaces in pristine, uncirculated condition. And if that happens, whoever finds it won't just have a coin. They'll have history to oh, here's what you need to do. Tonight, tomorrow, every chance you get, pull out your 2000 pennies. Hold them to the light. Look just to the right of the date. Is there a D? Is there a P? Or is it blank? This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The year is 2014. The Denver Mint is striking billions of pennies. Machines roar, presses hammer, and ordinary coins fly off the dies by the millions. But somewhere in that frenzy, a mistake slips through. A flaw so subtle, so invisible, that it hides in plain sight. Collectors would later whisper about it. Dealers would argue whether it was even real. And one coin, one single Lincoln cent with the faintest, strangest writ mark under the date, would ignite a storm that no one saw coming to at first. The story sounds like urban legend. A coin pulled from pocket change and supposedly valued higher than a luxury mansion. But when that first 2014 writ penny showed up at auction, everything changed. The bidding was fierce. Dealers flew across the country just to get a glimpse of it. Phone lines buzzed. Collectors sat on the edge of their seats, their hearts pounding. This was no ordinary penny. This was a chance at immortality in the coin world. But the most haunting part? Experts believe more of these mysterious pennies could still be out there, sitting in old piggy banks, hidden in forgotten coffee cans, circulating in everyday pocket change, where nobody ever thinks to look. Collectors were shocked. How could a coin minted just a decade ago be worth such unimaginable money? The answer lies in the tiniest detail, a strange impression where the word trust above Lincoln's head shows a bizarre, ghostly variation. Instead of the crisp letters, the T almost looks doubled, broken, misshaped, as though it says writ. It's the kind of error that happens when a die slips or wears unevenly. Most would call it a flaw. But in the coin world, a flaw can turn into fortune. And fortune, in this case, means millions. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread fast. Suddenly, every collector, every dealer, every treasure hunter was digging through jars, drawers, and rolls of 2014 pennies. Hope was everywhere. Someone else could strike gold. Someone else could pull $1 million miracle from change worth just 1 cent. Stories poured in. One man swore he found one in his glove box. A teenager claimed he spotted one while rolling coins for gas money. Each rumor sent shockwaves through the hobby. Was another fortune hiding in plain sight? Or was it just an illusion, a trick of the eye? This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. If the letters of trust look clean, sharp, and normal, you've got an ordinary penny. But if that final T is blurred, doubled, or broken, you may be holding history in your hand. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin. Some even offer thousands of dollars just for a penny that looks suspicious, hoping it's the real thing. Because the difference between an ordinary cent and $1 million masterpiece is smaller than a scratch, the mystery deepens because not all 2014 Denver pennies carry the flaw. In fact, most don't. Billions were struck, but only a tiny, unknown fraction show this bizarre writ variation. That's what makes it so powerful, so valuable, and so life-changing. If you find one, imagine the moment. You're counting out change for coffee. You glance down and see a penny that looks off. You rub your thumb over the word trust. The letters shimmer strangely. And then it hits you. You're not holding just a coin. You're holding freedom. You're holding $1 million miracle. But be careful. Many collectors mistake normal wear and tear for the real error. Scratches, dents, even dirt can play tricks on the eye. That's why you need a magnifying glass, good lighting, and patience. The real writ variation has a broken T that looks doubled, almost as if two letters were struck in the same spot. That is the key. That is the treasure map. And here's the chilling truth. Very few people are even checking. While most shrug off pennies as worthless, the lucky few who know the secret are sifting, searching, and discovering. Every day, the chance slips through millions of hands unnoticed. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. Yours could too. The next time you dump a handful of pennies on the counter, don't look past them. Look closer. Check the date. Check the mint mark. And above all, check that word trust. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.
Imagine holding an ordinary 2017 Lincoln penny in your hand. It looks like pocket change, worth 1 cent, nothing more. But one specific version, the one with a mysterious error at the Denver Mint, has turned the coin world upside down. At first glance, it seems normal. But the moment you spot the strange, almost ghostly writ D mark beneath the date, the story changes. That tiny imperfection, a minting slip so subtle most people overlook it, is the reason this coin has fetched staggering prices. One of these elusive pennies appeared at auction, expected to bring in a few $100s at best. The bidding opened low, hands went up quickly, and then the price shot past $10,000, $50,000, $100,000. By the time the gavel fell, the room was frozen in disbelief. That humble copper-plated coin had crossed into the unthinkable, over $1 million. Collectors were shocked. Dealers rushed to scour their inventories. Ordinary people began digging through their change jars and piggy banks. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. The Denver Mint in 2017 was producing billions of pennies, each stamped with ruthless precision. Yet somewhere along the line, a die was damaged, or perhaps engraved with an experimental test mark, leaving behind an odd writ imprint that slipped into circulation. Most of these mistakes are caught and destroyed. But not this one. That's why experts believe only a handful of these coins ever escaped into the wild. And when word spread of its sale, the coin collecting world erupted with excitement and doubt. Was it real? Could there be more? Or was this the only surviving treasure? This coin doesn't look dramatically different. It doesn't shine like gold. It doesn't scream $1 million rarity. It hides in plain sight. That's why so many overlook it, and why it has the power to change the life of whoever finds one. Dealers are now desperate to get their hands on any 2017 Denver penny with strange lettering or distortions around the mint mark. Every coin show, every shop, every collector's circle, whispers of the writ D continue, because while a single discovery has already sold for over $1 million, experts know the possibility exists that another is still out there.
Sitting quietly in someone's coin roll. Hidden in a dusty jar. Resting in the palm of someone who thinks it's worth a cent, and nothing more. So how do you know if you found one? Look closely at any 2017 penny from the Denver Mint. Right beneath the date, where you'd normally see the sharp, clean D, look instead for a distorted impression. It may appear doubled, elongated, or warped to resemble the letters writ. It doesn't look perfect. It looks like a mistake. And that's the key. Be careful though, countless ordinary 2017 pennies flood the market. Don't be fooled by scratches or damage that mimic the error. True examples have a distinct raised lettering from the die itself, not from circulation wear. That difference is worth everything. Every day, ordinary Americans handle pennies without a second thought. They toss them into drawers, lose them in couch cushions, give them away as change. But one single overlooked coin, one 2017 penny with the writ D error, turned a piece of pocket change into $1 million treasure. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't just drop those pennies in a jar. Look closely. Hold them to the light. Study every mint mark. Because your life-changing discovery could already be in your hands, this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.